Here we have the iPhone 17 Air, along with 5 different cases we're going to be trying today. 2 cases officially from Apple and 3 third-party. I've heard the official cases are not great, so I wanted to cover my options here. We'll have a few different tests for all the cases, how much they weigh, because, you know, as this is the Air, that's like its biggest point, is that it's so thin, so light. Even just a few grams might make a difference here. Magnet strength, we have our like Qi charger here. That's where it's mostly going to be important, I suppose. Let's go and start with the ESR. This is the one my girlfriend has been rocking for the last few days. It's very cheap. I mean, all third-party cases are relatively cheap compared to the official ones. This case comes in at 35 grams, which is actually heavier than I would have thought. It doesn't feel like much. For reference, the weight of the actual iPhone itself is 165. So adding 35 grams is actually pretty substantial. I do assume most cases will fall around that same amount, except for the Bumper. That's probably going to be its one win today. We're checking out G-Tech now. This one's pretty much identical to the official version. 3 grams lighter, you're probably not going to notice that. Towery up next. This one I believe does come with screen protectors as well, so a nice little bonus. I'm quite sure it wasn't more expensive. If it was by a tiny amount. Yeah, we got some screen protectors here. No magnets in this case at all. Oh, the first one to get sub 30. And finally, moving on to the official Apple cases. Of course, the unboxing experience is usually a little bit more grand than the others, but is it worth like literally 3 to 4 times the price? Probably not. Oh, well, I can immediately tell this is quite a bit thinner. I don't know about lighter, but it is thinner than the rest. We'll compare that later. This one's also frosted, but again, oh wow, yeah, this one's definitely the lightest for sure. 21 grams, okay. And finally the Bumper, which I'm not sure it actually should be here, but it was the only other official offering, and they didn't have it in white, or at least Amazon didn't, so obviously this will be the lightest, but sure, 12.8 grams. It is hard to imagine how they justify charging 60 euros for this, to be honest. It's just like, it's like nothing. I'm honestly surprised by Apple's official normal case. It is quite a bit thinner and lighter than the others by a noticeable margin. Still, I'm not sure it's worth the extra amount, and you are losing a bit of protection down here from the charging port, but we are also going to measure how much thicker it makes the phone as a whole. Can round up to 8.5 for the ERS, and for that we have a 78.8. Moving on to the Towery, we got 8.6 by about 78. G-Tech is 8.66 by 78.5. Yeah, it is about half a millimeter thinner, maybe 3/4 of a millimeter, so definitely thinner. In this direction, it's actually the thickest of all somehow at 79. We are again talking about half a millimeter here, but still. And finally the Bumper, the thickest in this dimension. We'll just go near the top where it's less flexible, and we're at like 78. It's honestly pretty similar to the rest. So dimensions wise, yeah, they're all pretty close. It would probably make more sense just to put them on and try and subjectively tell you how they feel to me. Let's start with the ESR case. It feels fine to me, honestly, like grip wise. The phone obviously still feels really light. It is an Air. Appearance is pretty subjective, so I'm not going to touch on that too much. You can decide for yourself if you like the way it looks or not. I think it looks fine, like any other, you know, transparent case. Accuracy of button cutouts look good. Here is the other side. We will see how they feel and sound. I'll try and get a close-up on my camera mic there. Here's the sound of the buttons with no case for reference. Most of the buttons feel okay, but the volume up and down feel a little squishy, a little hard to press. It feels like you require a bit of force there. Overall though, pretty solid. Of the third-party cases, it is one of the more expensive ones though. Next, we're checking out G-Tech. Also clicks in very nicely. It feels honestly very similar to the ESR. Also looks very similar. I do think the camera bump is a little bit more protruded. Am I wrong? I mean, they are almost identical. The only real difference is that this one has the hole cut out here, and this one has some protection in between the camera lenses and whatnot. The buttons also feel and sound pretty much identical. I really don't know what to say. It is just so similar to the other one. Also flexible plastic here. Towery does feel a bit stiffer. Let's put it on. That one, bit of a tighter fit, I think. You know what? I do kind of like this one the most in terms of appearance. It might just be the lack of the ring thing here. I don't know, it just looks cleaner for sure. None of the cases so far make these 3 buttons feel very good. They all feel a little too squishy and a little too hard to press. I'm not sure why that is. But yeah, this one is noticeably a little harder to get on and take off. Next up, official Apple case. Let's go ahead and throw it in. I mean, that does go in the easiest for sure. I guess it does look a tiny bit nicer than the other ones because it's frosted, but there's a bit of a slippery feel. How about the buttons? Okay, yeah, those feel good. Those feel good. It is definitely a case issue. Buttons feel the best by far on the official one. That's not me saying the other ones are bad. There is just a noticeable difference. I don't know if there will be a difference in sound, but let's compare. I've also heard it's a fingerprint magnet, but like, I'm having a hard time seeing them on camera or in person, to be honest. This one is definitely the most comfortable. It is the thinnest, it is the lightest so far. And because my pinky is always resting down here, I like the fact there's no case there. My only issue with this one, of course, is the price. On the official website, it's 60 bucks, which is like literally 4 to 5 times the price of these other ones. And if I'm going to be a bit more nitpicky, it does feel a bit more slippery than the other cases, though I kind of doubt it's slippery enough to, drop out of your hand due to that. And finally, this thing, the bumper. Again, looks wise, can't really comment on that. Obviously, it's not going to look that good in beige or whatever because it's a white phone. On Amazon, at least, the bumper was like way less expensive. Oh, what? Oh, is that right? Do you have to really use that much freaking force? That's insane. There it is on the phone. Honestly, it doesn't look as bad as I thought it would. But yeah, I mean, it also protrudes quite a bit. And honestly, just, I don't know, it feels weird that there's bumps on both sides now. Maybe I'm just not a bumper person, but this ain't it. I don't like this at all, honestly. I'll go ask my girlfriend how she feels about it and be right back. I'm back. She said it looks better than the one she was currently rocking, so she prefers the appearance, but said it feels cheap and too slippery. So yeah, it also protects the phone the least. Like the entire back is exposed. She said she'd be worried about the camera because there's nothing back here, which is, I think, fair. I mean, I think like glass technology has come some ways, especially in the air, but regardless, I think it's a pretty valid concern. The buttons here are also easy to click, but they feel kind of like wobbly. I'm literally moving the buttons around in the case, if you can see that. I don't know if that's on purpose or not, but I digress. I don't think this thing is very good and especially not worth the money. But okay, how are the magnets for wireless charging in the cases? Obviously the bumper doesn't have one, but this is just the test for the internal magnet. So first of all, it can completely pick up the cube. The one, oh, okay, kind of barely. And honestly, I think that's kind of perfect. Like if you pick it up from an angle, it comes off, but if you want to have it at an angle, it also sticks, perfectly fine. And then, it comes off relatively easily. This is a very, very tight one, and I'm kind of worried. I did see the jerry rig everything thing, and I doubt I'm going to actually like break the phone, but still, the material is so tight and it's so stiff. Once you go bump, you never go back. No other case I've had it. Oh, there we go. God, I think you have to pull it from both sides at once. That was kind of scary. Anyway, on the ESR case, the strong magnet is actually a selling point, but to be totally honest, it's been kind of annoying. It's too strong. I think the only reason you would need such a strong magnet is if you plan to mount it in your car, with like a wireless charging thing, and so it like stays secure while you're driving over bumps. On a very stable, heavy, charging cube like this, it is still easy to just grab from the bottom and release that way. But on lighter, less stable chargers, the whole thing comes up. If I apply downward and angled towards me force, it kind of works, but it's just unnecessarily strong unless you're in a car. The one from Towery has no magnet, so it's basically, can the magnet from the phone get through the case and still be strong enough? It's so weak. There's no way I can even have it slanted like this, watch. There, it is. Okay. Oh yeah, there it goes. There's no way I would ever trust that, obviously. So if you need wireless charging, would not go with this one. And finally, Jet Tech, I assume this will be pretty similar to ESR's. Does stick. Oh, but it's actually not as strong. Let me get this bad boy again. Well, I think it's actually still pretty strong. Yeah. If I apply downward force, yeah, it's about as strong, to be honest. They're all very similar, but I guess there are some subtle differences. And finally, the official Apple case. Nice. Let's check out the magnet. Oh yeah, that one is way more subtle. It's also very easy to rotate. Almost scarily easy to rotate, as a matter of fact. It makes it feel like the magnet is weak, but it's really not that weak when you try and pull it off. That is like perfect for home use. Again, might be not strong enough for a car. I don't really know, but that passes the test. I don't really need to apply downward force in this case. So the magnets in these are a little too strong for my preference. It's not a deal breaker per se, but that along with the fact that the buttons here, the action button, the volume buttons, just don't feel as good on the third-party cases. I would say if price wasn't a factor, the Apple case is the best one here. Ignoring the bumper, it is the lightest and the most comfortable. It is a little slippery, but like, again, probably not so slippery it would slip out of your hands. I just think this thing is a crime, to be honest. That's all I can say. Ultimately, it is Bone's phone, so I will leave it up to her. Though if it were me personally, I wouldn't care about price too much. It is a 1,200 euro phone, and we are talking about a difference of about 20 or 30 euros for the case that's going to live on it. It's lighter and the buttons feel nicer. The cutout here can be a pro or con depending on who you are. I think the cutout is nice. You know, the pinky feels more comfortable there, though it's understandable if you don't want this entire part exposed. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Honestly, I came in here with a bias against the official Apple ones. It is too expensive for what it is, absolutely, but it is also the best transparent case, at least from the ones I've tried. Feel free to leave your own thoughts in the comments down below though. Dropping a like or subscribing if you enjoy is always greatly appreciated as well. Thanks, as always, for watching, and until next time.